Hey everyone, how you doing? Get started here in a few minutes. I just want to get software going and then give people a chance to come in if they want to ask questions, etc. So forgive me. I don't have any fancy music to play. I guess I could push buttons. What does that do? Air horn. Recorded sounds. Yeah. Well, so what I'm going to do today is go over the SEO fight spring training, my roll up for that. I didn't get to do that live. So I'll do that today. Well, again, we're gonna wait for some people to come in and get that knocked out. So we got a few minutes. I started early because I wanted to make sure everything worked. So you bear with me. Go get yourself a drink, get some coffee or whatever, and we'll get started right on time. In the meantime, you're gonna watch me click around and just do stuff randomly. Let's see. In the meantime, you're gonna watch me click around and do stuff randomly. Yay. You guys should be able to see my chicken scratch notes fairly clearly. Good. Mm. Share. Those things. All right. We got 5 more minutes before we start. Thanks, Jose. Coffee and cookies. Boris, good to hear. I'm gonna be remaking some of those videos because it is almost like going through a coding course, right? So I'm gonna make some less coding course type videos for that one. Just make it appeal to a little bit more people. Tanya, I mean, if we get some time, we'll go around it, but I'm not going to do the typical Q&A today. You're bound to have some questions after you go through, see the roll up from spring training. So. Alrighty. 2 more minutes. Let me grab a water and then we'll get going. Okay. Good day, hey dude. What is up? All right. Okay. You guys all set? Just you, me, and the YouTube crowd. I'm cool with that. All right. Do this. SEO this week, episode 30. Thank you everyone for coming. I know I skipped last week. The week before that, I had the SEO spring training, and also my son came to visit from Washington, so that was awesome. You can spend some time with him and do a conference and see him excited about SEO, etc. So I had a good time. Typically, well, lately, I guess I want to say lately, ever since SEO Rockstars, my presentations at the conferences have been the roll up. So essentially, what I would do is just sit there like an audience member and take notes, and then present my notes, and then essentially moderate a discussion from all the other attendees, because we can all hear the exact same thing, but we're listening to is from our own unique perspectives, and we pull different nuggets out from the same presentation. Even today, I mean, there's 15 people watching live right now. At the beginning, all 15 of you will get something different out of it, and being able to share that information at the end of a conference, I think it's awesome and it's valuable, and a lot of people agree, because I've so far been invited to like 3 or 4 other conferences to do this roll-up thing. Well, at SEO spring training, they just ran out of time. I mean, you can only have the conference room for so long. They had to be out, and then I was the, what did you call it? The host. I was hosting. I don't know. Yeah, as a host. Yeah, I guess the host would work, introducing the presenters and keeping us on pace and etc. And the downside of, as anyone who's ever been to a conference or whatever, that there's just one, sometimes speakers go over. Not necessarily a big deal. I'm not complaining about it, just saying that it happens. And then one thing I am complaining about is when you try to start or get everything going again, people will just sit in that conference and blah, 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 and try to talk over you and just completely ignore the fact that you're going, even though you asked them politely. And it got to the point where, yeah, Patrick MC, there you go. It got to the point where I was getting pissed off and just yelling at people. And that's the only time where they shut up and actually sat down and, were respectful of the next person that was coming up to present and the other people that are trying to listen. So that's my vent for today. It's just, fucking, if you're going to go to a conference, have some common courtesy. And if you want to maintain a conversation into the next speaker with someone that you find really, really valuable and you want to have a nice talk to, either A, go out of the conference room, or B, before you go back into the conference room, say, hey, let's get back together later and we'll continue this conversation, and then let the process move on. That's my rant. So anyway, because of all that stuff that's going on, I couldn't do the roll up. We just ran out of time for the conference room to have that room. They were going to pull out tables and everything. So they just didn't have time. Their loss is kind of your gain, because typically I would also have notes from the walking around part. So, you know what I mean? So if we're going and let's say Tracy was there and or Tanya was there and she had a whole bunch of questions, I could add to these notes that I'm going to show you, and it expands the quality even more. And then I come back to the show and show you this and be like, look, if you missed out on the conference because you weren't here, then here's some of the information that I got. And that will kind of motivate you to come to a conference on your own, one, and then two, you don't totally lose out on everything. You don't get everything, but you don't totally lose on anything by not being able to attend. So I think it's valuable content for me to present. It's valuable content for you to digest. And it's good for me because I get to review this stuff again And I don't waste money going to conferences and not implementing anything, right? So win, win, win. So with that being said, let me share the screen. These are my notes. It's my handwriting. If you can't read my handwriting, tough shit. I will explain it as we go. I'm using Remarkable in case any of you want to know. You just essentially, it's an electronic piece of paper, and you write out a tab, and then you put a software in your computer, and you can do it here. I can also sync it, like I can write on my notes, but I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. Once I do that, it's going to be awesome. But with that, here we go. First, Matt Verstig, he was the #1 speaker. He talked at SEO on the beach, and when I did that roll up, I expressed that he was a great #1 speaker. He set the tone. I think he did pretty much the same here at SEO spring training. Just got the energy going, et cetera, and gave a lot of great information. A couple things he picked out is that you can choose the type of verification you want by doing specific things. In this case, all these steps here that you see, hopefully you can see me clicking around and stuff because you can't see me right. Let me do this. What's this do? All right. Yep, I can't do it. Anyway, so and set up the listing. If you want a postcard, that's what PC stands for, postcard. Then you can set up the listing, omit the phone number and the website, go do all the stuff, and then add a trusted account as a manager, i.e. like a paid Google account, Google Workspace account or whatever. As a manager, accept the information, then enter a phone number, and then that'll trigger the postcard verification for you. That'll be good. I mean, what are the applications for that to get postcards? I guess if you're trying to do you want to get around the video verification and you want to make sure for sure your postcard is going to be sent, that's a good way to do that. I thought that was awesome. I'm not a big Macs guy, so I'm just giving you what's in the information here. Honestly, this verification shit, I mean, that's for other people to work out. I just don't want to do it. Video. If you want to have video, put your phone number in. If you contact support after talking to them about a video upload, get on a live call, listing goes live and ranks well. Basically, if you're having, let's say you're doing it, you have to upload a video and it just doesn't kick in fast enough for you, you can actually contact live support, and during the process of that call, your listing will come live and it stays that way. One of the things they did mention is if you go through this process, your listing is almost considered bulletproof and you don't have to renew it or anything because you've already engaged with a live person, or you've gone through this reinstatement thing if that happens to happen, and it generally just never gets put into that reinstatement pool again because you've already technically talked to a live person at Google to get that set up. So that's pretty good. Reinstatement, use a Google Workspace account if you're doing that. Inos Workspace. Basically, there's a service called Inos. Never heard of it. But I guess you can go in there and sign up and get a Google Workspace account through Inos versus paying for a Workspace account on your own, which is pretty interesting. So check that out if that's something that you're into doing. And collect the proof. This collect proof now versus waiting to get suspended thing is actually pretty important. I do a lot of franchise work, and as you may or may not know, and if you have big brands that have a couple hundred listings, generally what happens is there'll be somebody who goes rogue, or a couple of somebodies who go rogue. It triggers a manual review of your account, and then those people just don't care and they'll suspend every map in there. And when that happens, notice I said when, not if. When that happens, you have to represent utility bills, business stuff, business licenses, all that stuff again during the reinstatement process, which is really annoying. And so if you do that before you even make the map, get your business bill, get your utility bill, get a copy of the business license at the city that the person is operating in even uses business licenses. For example, Phoenix does not. Get a copy of like the LLC or to that effect. So you have these 3 pieces of documentation. Say, look, we're real. The address is real. The business is real. Make the map live again and have that on hand. Just make that a part of your SOP. Gather that stuff when you're doing map stuff for real businesses specifically. If you're doing the fake maps, you're going to have to figure that out. But yeah, I would do that in advance if those maps are making you a lot of money. Make sense? Reviews. He did a case study, and he did recency and velocity is essentially what he's figuring out. And he did 1 review per day for 13 days. So that's a total of 13 reviews in his case study. And at that pace, the example that he's shown, the grid that he had shown, improved significantly for only 13 reviews. And he wasn't going out and buying reviews or anything. He's got a team and he figured it out, 13 reviews. And the idea is the recency of the reviews, the closer to the date, obviously, to today, and the velocity of the reviews combined to increase the rankings of the page. It wasn't necessarily the reviews and doing stuff like Brock Misner teaches, for example, adding the entities and the keywords and all that stuff, which is important, I would think. But you also want to have recency and velocity. So that is a great test to go out and try out. If you don't want to screw around with the potential FTC things, or listening to a client go, those aren't real reviews, you got to check them down, you can review the business owners. So you as an agency can actually do a review talking about the person that was there and the business that they're running. So Joe Blow is running a great Chinese massage parlor in Phoenix, Arizona. He's a great person, and he's got really soft hands. I mean, you can do those kind of things to you're staying in compliance with the FTC because you're not reviewing a product. Your review is about the business owners. So that's how I would get around that argument. And then maybe in potential any future issues like that, especially in those your money, your life niches, you want to knock that out. But 13 reviews, 1 per day, should be pretty easy to do, whether you're, get 13 Google accounts or just find 13 friends and then every day go ask one of them, hey, can you leave a review? And do that for 13 days in a row. And we can test that out. I'd like to do it on a test map for Digital Ear. The problem is how do we control the pace? You know what I mean? So if I ask you guys in this video, go to Digital Ear and leave a review for me, because none of you are I would argue most of you are not, if not all of you are not clients. So leave a review for me, and then if you see one left today, come back tomorrow. But that seems like a lot of work to ask of you guys, so I have to figure that out. Maybe I just got to go by some Gmails and get a little bit of history on them and do this test during May. But I think it's awesome. I mean, if it works, that's something that we could scale quite easily. So got to test it out. This number don't use anymore. It was a training that he's giving out. I think he's starting the next one today, as a matter of fact. It's a 5-day seminar. He was giving that out, but don't use that number anymore. It doesn't work. Jose, create daily spots for people to sign up for. That might work. Again, it's a lot. It's a big ask because you guys technically you'd see the results, right? But you don't get anything out of doing that, spending that time. So what would probably happen is it would create gaps in that schedule, and because people would forget, life happens, and it would mess up the test. So I think I'm going to have to do it on my own, which blows. Not really. If I can know how much hard work it's going to be, I could actually devise a way to scale it. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. Inform the request, legit reviews get published. Oh, there is a form. One of the things that people were talking about was that Google filters out legit reviews. So you have a legit customer and you had them, you did the right thing, and you as a business owner, or you as an agency got your business owner and their staff, they're asking for reviews every day, and Google's filtering them. There's a form to fill out that will get those turned on. And as it was reported by not only Matt, but a lot of the people that were attending, that form works and it's really fast. So I couldn't find it. In full disclosure, I didn't look all that hard either, but I couldn't find it. So if anyone finds it, come back, leave a comment in the chat here in the video, and that should be good. All right, let's see. Jesse Dolan, Local SEO Tactics. He's got a podcast called Local SEO Tactics. If you want to do interview, if you think you're cool enough, go to localseotactics.com/interview, and you can fill out a form. And if he's got a slot and you have a compelling topic, he'll bring you on, which is awesome. The little check blocks here is just things that I came up with during my listening. He mentioned he had an example of this domain, Jesse the Plumber, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So you can, like, creating personas, you can do build PBNs out of something like this for specific niches, that kind of stuff. I thought it was interesting, probably not scalable yet. Interesting. Get clients to produce content. This is something he was talking about this, and the idea is what they do is he has a a service where the clients are actually creating podcasts. I don't know about all his clients. I know my clients would be like, pound sand, I'm not doing that. But there is another way to get this done versus doing creating podcasts with them, is actually send them just like a cheap digital recorder. Here's some topics, like, I don't know, let's say you're in rehab and you want to talk about the fentanyl epidemic. You can have them just have talk a little bit, give them, we're talking about fentanyl epidemic. Here's 6 points, or 6, essentially air quotes, headings, and just talk about them to the digital recorder, then mail the digital recorder back to me. You get it transcribed. Now you have the article, you have an audio piece for a podcast, you have the audio, you can use that and make a video out of it, and you can do you create an article post and all that such and such with just that one little thing. And the digital recorders aren't that expensive at all. If you want it back, you can mail it in a box and then send them the receipt to, or the UPS thing or whatever you want to use, the return sender. So it doesn't cost them anything. You just roll that cost into your cost of for the service. And it's a really cool way to get content done. That's not intrusive to you. It's not intrusive to the client. Everything is easy. You're not going to write this down, and they're like, "You're not paying you to write," and you're like, "I used AI." You can save yourself all that drama, but just getting a cheap digital recorder and sending them a list of topics. Easy peasy. Michael Rayburn was there. He's doing GMB optimization. I think this one probably worth being said. If you're in Maps, you're like, no shit. But if you're not in Maps, don't touch the business name and don't touch the phone number once it's optimized, or else things go wrong. click on the suggested terms. Forget what that is about. He did recommend using EXIF and geotagging when you're uploading photos to your maps. Do regular posts, 2 to 3 posts a week was his recommendation. I mean, depending on your content push and your posting schedule and your blog, there's one. So if you're doing 4 a week, you have 4 posts for GMB there. And then maybe like some news or something, set up a thing like Feeder, watch RSS feeds, and then you see some news stuff and you can highlight some news that's going on. That'd be interesting. And then some images, thoughts that I came up when he was talking about these posts and stuff is, if you're in Christmas lights, for example, you can use AI to generate images for those. Outdoor lighting, plumbing, affiliate stuff, all you can use Midjourney and create some really cool images to related to that. And if you're stupid lazy like me, I just watch Midjourney and all those prompts that go in there. They come out with some great images. Even my thumbtacks tags, if you haven't seen the last couple of videos that I posted, those images that are on the side, just Midjourney images that were other people made up. I thought it was awesome. Question I had for iMyFone. I don't know if any of you guys know, but does the account logged into the phone matter? So if I'm using an iMyFone, the on the phone app, there is an on the phone app now to simulate driving to a location. Does the Google account that my phone is connected to matter? Can I rotate the accounts, or does it go, oh, it's the same account doing it over and over again? Is that a big deal? I don't know. I still have to mess with my phone. Still have yet to seriously play with it. I'm going to get the proxidized system first before I do all that. So that's a good question. If any of you guys know, let me know in the comments. Questions and answers, avatar profiles to ask questions, answer with your business account. You can actually, this avatar profiles thing is essentially, remember the whole 13 reviews test back here? Boom, boom. Create 13 accounts, and then now you have your avatar profiles, and then go to ChatGPT or whatever and go, can you give me the frequently asked questions for topic X? 5 or 13 of them. You got 13 accounts, that's 13 questions, and then you have your business account go give the answer to those 13 questions, and that'll boost up the relevance to the maps. I will admit that I've done a questions and answer test and it didn't do anything for the rankings, but we were looking at the rankings in the local pack and I wasn't using those stupid little grid thingies either. So check it out if you're a maps guy and you know how to manipulate those Q&As to get some more relevance. That'd be a good way to knock it out. iMyFone alternative, Lakido, if you're on an Android. I haven't seen that one. I have an Android phone. I got my Note 6 and I have my iPhone. So I could play with both of those. I kind of like in the idea of iMyFone though, and just connecting to a laptop. One laptop is 10 for 10 phones. This is pretty much the tested, recognized number you can get away with. So you get 10 phones, 10 little cheap ass old smartphones. Hook iMyFone to one computer, and then you get a proxidized system. You can hook that to the computer, and you get 10 phones traveling the world for you. Something to try out for sure. Chris Walker from Legit, he was there, and he went over the process that, just some of the lessons learned that he was doing for Legit. It was interesting to see that until recently, he didn't even seriously, or he didn't take the SEO for that site seriously. And then they got some drops and he's like, oh, I guess I better pay attention. Which is amazing to me. I mean, his making is in the range of almost $400,000 a month. He's making in the range of almost $400,000 a month from that website. And that's not including all the money that the freelancers and all that stuff make. So that's awesome with no SEO consideration. One of the things he said he had to change was getting the blog. It was on a subdomain. He took that off. He had to fix the internal linking because there was no intentional plan. The meta tag templates for the product specifically was all jacked up. It was causing keyword cannibalization issues. He had some influencer rated pages. He started implementing those. Essentially, like you have like a Charles Flood or Matt Diggity or whatever, go over there and there would be information about him and how that related to legit on there. So that was an interesting thing. If you're doing guest posts and you have relationships with people that come quite often, that influencer page, you go check one of those out and use that as a template for your authors, and you can cover a little bit of EAT by doing that, because in that part of EAT, it's looking for the about page for the author, and if you have these influencer pages, you can cover that, do pretty good. And he had a lot of categories and subcategories to it. And he's trying to rank the categories versus the provider listings now, which makes a lot more sense from a topic level. And then these are just some questions I thought of while I was listening to him. Can ChatGPT list Google manipulated URLs? Like, if you know what I'm talking about, the Gmaps, and you can mess with those URLs and have it do different things. I don't know why I thought of. Oh, I know he thought about it because they were offering it and they had to take it down. And can ChatGPT with the browser plugin identify stick URLs? If you're a Brock Misner student, do you know what stick URLs are? Those are two questions I wanted to know. Mike Merlino, third time I've heard him talk. This time he actually went from CTR to brand building. This is my recommendation. I think everyone and their dog has heard him talk about CTR and just needed something new from him. And he delivered, right? So he recommended if you're getting a GMB, the first thing you should worry about is getting 15 reviews for that GMB right away. That seems easy, especially if you're going to implement the Matt Versig idea. Instead of 13 accounts, get 15 and just do 15 reviews. He's using Podbean and Buzzsprout. These two are recommended for hosting a podcast and getting some backlinks for your brand. Batch Geo and Patch Post, he's using those two. I know what Patch is. I think I look into Batch Geo a little bit more and see what that's all about. And then Wikidata, go to Legit and get a Wikidata page up for your brand. I think that's smart anyway. And these here were some things that he was giving away. I think he's giving a spreadsheet away here. I don't know that that's available anymore. And then the missing letter and Q promote were things that he talks about. That Q promote, I think I have that. Missing letter, I don't remember offhand what that was. And then he was recommending using the Maps API to build locator plus embeds on your website. I mean, those are okay. I do that as well. You go to devs.google.com, Google Maps API, and then there's a form. You can actually do a search function and it'll spit out the embed code for you, but you got to put your API in that embed code. To those who don't know, that API is actually just wide out ass in the open. So anyone in the dog can go find your API map and then take that API to this Google Cloud thing and then hook it up and build these maps, and you get charged for them. Stupid implementation on the part of Google, in my opinion. But I mean, you can do it. You can hide it in some binary. You can minify it and try to hide it for your best, but it seems like a really big security flaw from a API user perspective. Okay. Why promoters blog share? Oh yeah, blog shares. Yeah, blog shares is I don't know if you ever guys know the olden days of SEO, but there's a thing called Triber. Their Blog Engage. I think Blog Engage is still around. And essentially, it's just users sharing each other's blog posts. It seems it's totally worth doing it if you get shares. The downside is because they were working so well, the spammers naturally came in and just filled it up with trash, and then you didn't want to share that trash on your accounts, so you quit, and then you lost and then they were sharing your stuff on accounts that just didn't have any value. Whereas the old Triber days, those were actually people's legit personal accounts, right? And so you were getting legit links and you're getting legit traffic from those and thus legit rankings. So look those up. I was thinking about starting one of those again. The downside is, again, what I just talked about is the legit social accounts. And if I did start a service up like that, the first thing I would have to do is already plan like 3 or 4 people who did nothing but go through and review the social accounts before I let them in the network, to make sure that I wasn't letting in trash. Right? I wanted to keep it moderated. If you keep it moderated, you actually get a whole lot better benefit out of it from a traffic and rankings perspective. You can limit the API key. You can, depending on, it's true, you can limit it to a thing, but let's say you're trying to use this on Amazon S3, for example, and you got to screw around with that, etc. Where personally, I think Google is smarter than that, and they should be using binary or something to encode that API key so it doesn't show up in the embed kit. It seems like a good way, an easy way to protect customers, in my opinion. This Spanish right here, Extractor de Entidades, is a entity extractor Chrome plugin. I haven't tried it out yet. I'm gonna be switching my browser here next month. So wasting not adding any new things yet, but you can check that out if you want to look for a way to extract entities from content. Brock Minsner, he had a presentation. Slides Mania actually was the slide deck creator that he used. I saw that and I liked his deck, so that's why I wrote that down. Slidesmania.com. He's talking about URL parameters more and more, clean URLs, base 64 encoder and schema to build stick parameter URLs. So essentially that there is, if you've been through his training, he's got this thing called stick parameters, and it's JSON code. And then you can use that same stick parameter and associate your business with that stick parameter, which has all these entities in it, which is good. But you can also mess around with those stick parameters and then use base 64 and encode it and kind of essentially make your own stick parameters. So I want to play with that, and then I'm going to teach it as part of the. I'll teach it. I'll figure out if I want to do it for SEO this week or not. But I'm definitely going to teach that and show what I did, and I think there'd be some value in doing that, because I know for a fact that these stick parameter URLs, when you send them via press releases, they rank the websites pretty damn good. So it seems to me that if we can figure out a way to create those and influence the entities that are in those and get those more exactly on point to what you're looking for, then you can get some decent rankings for it for a simple process. So once I figure out that simple process, I'll show everybody. Link location and service pages to map URL into each other. To map URL, I think, is the key here. We were doing a service pages to the map embed, and it didn't do very much for us. As a matter of fact, to me, it seemed like it caused issues because our service area pages, in particular, like are different cities, and then the map's really not going to spread out to all of those cities. So we knew that. So we've changed the map to the cities, but adding the map URL, on the other hand, is something that we definitely want to test. Spotify for podcasters. I didn't know Spotify had podcasters. I have a syndication service for SEO this week that I'm through. I want to change it and find a new host, but Spotify for podcasters is kind of like that. It does supposedly it does the hosting and then all the syndication to the other services. And then these are just some other links that he recommended for some different things. You can write them down if you want to, but he didn't go too much into what they all did and how he's using them. Next was Bucky Helms. Let's find a customer support manager and have them advocate for agency, onboard new clients, set expectations, continue to do reporting, encourage upsells and cross sells, build relationships with the customer, and voice customer concerns for the agency. There you go. That's Bucky. Let's see. Oh, and when you're doing that, when you're looking for a customer support guy and you have, like, let's say you have someone who's doing is a good SEO team member, you promote them to be the customer support manager versus going to find someone else to be a customer support manager and teach them SEO. So these guys and gals in theory already know SEO, especially if your agency is primarily an SEO agency. And so they be able to speak, talk, and address SEO concerns with the customer better than someone who has no SEO experience and has to learn SEO to do it. I'm not saying you can't teach CSMs. We teach CSMs. We don't. Our SEO team is not big enough to be promoting out of and bringing in new SEOs. So we bring in new CSMs and teach them SEO, and they have a bunch of videos that I created to walk them through the SEO campaign process. And it's up to them to absorb that knowledge and then turn it into English, because I talk SEO speak, turn it into English so the customers can understand it. So scale that. And then he's recommending go high level for SMS and email. He's saying if you get your customers or your clients, if you're doing client work, stuck glued to or used to using the SMS and email functions that you're reselling at a go high level, they're way less likely to leave because they want to leave that and change to a different thing. Can't go over that. Lee's presentation, I mean, it was what it is. Honestly, there's a lot of this is what you can do, this is what I did, but there's no this is how I did it. It's just this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. The biggest point out of that was these grids were inaccurate. The 2, 5, 10-mile grids are inaccurate and giving you the false impression of security that might not truly be there. So don't make grids that big. That was really what I got out of it. One question you see there, what would happen if everyone in your area got traffic but you? That was an interesting question. And then the content scrape top 50 of the ranking pages use that content. I forget the context for that. But essentially how I would use that is top 50, maybe. Well, yeah, no, not for. I generally use top 10. I get the top 10 links, send those to the content writer, and here's 10 examples. Here's the outline that I would like. Here's the primary target keyword. Go to town. And I think here, I forget the context for this, honestly, but that's all I got from Lee's talk. Kyle Roof, Google Proof Your Sites. Was awesome seeing Kyle again. He's Kyle famous, right? So we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time together and stuff, but we got to shake his hand and ask him how he's doing. Those are 3 stages of SEO, essentially, for SEO things you want to implement. Tried and tested factors or things that you know you can do to increase rankings, things that you know you can do to increase rankings based off of your experience, and then things that you can do to increase rankings just kind of make sense. Common sense. It's not always common. You recommended a Builder Society post by CC Carter called Avalanche Theory for everyone to go read. And I am a Builder Society member, so if you're in there, you're going to find a lot of great information. It is not a warrior forum replacement. It's legit, serious thought about search engine optimization, PPC, marketing in general, etc. So go in there with that in mind. It is not your high-level crap. Let's see. Post in your tier, authority without risk. That's this avalanche theory. If you read that, you'll understand the rest of these notes here. But essentially, everyone has the theory is everyone is in this tier, and it's based off of your traffic and a couple other things. I wrote this down, but you got to really go read that post to get the whole thing. And then there's a table and it said this is what tier you're in. And then when you're doing your keyword research, do try to rank pages within that tier until you can move up to the next tier. And as you grow that, you can scale the authority of your website. You'll also have to build backlinks to this. Don't leave that out, but you can do that, build the authority and the backlinks and build traffic all at the same time using this process. Think, KGR, that knowledge, what is it? Keyword something ratio, from Doug. Think of it like that, but you get to do a little bit more to it and make it more exacting for your brand. So, let's see. If you're in, this raterhub.com or Fat Ranks, if you see that in referrals, that means that there's Google people going to your website. So you might want to check it out. And there was reports from the Chiang Mai internet community in that group that or Fat Rank, this website. I had to go look this up, but essentially there's a list of these sites that they found, and they saw a correlation with increased listings of those in their referrals, and those pages then got hit by the next core update. So you might want to check that out, see if you can find that. Keyword golden ratio. That's it, Vinay. Thank you. Ontology. It referenced ontology, but in his talk, he didn't talk too much about it. And then he said, hey, if you can't get an English Wikipedia page, foreign language Wikipedia pages work just as well. I thought that was a good idea. So check that out. Nicole Hess, she's from the Dino Gomez crowd, and quite frankly, she's awesome as fuck. She did a video, she did a presentation, and no shit, she said the word fuck 222 times during her presentation. They counted it. She pointed out you need to, a conference is a vacation. I know a lot of us, including myself, that's kind of what I think a conference is as. Get out, see some people, drink a little whiskey, and just have a good time. She pointed out what we all probably needed to hear is conferences aren't vacations. She pointed out you can't sell people what they need, you sell them what they want, which is true about SEO. Everyone has to sell, you're going to get leads, you're going to get leads, you're going to get leads and make sales. And knowing the people that are honest with themselves know damn well that they don't have anything to do with conversions from the website to a lead, and they certainly don't have anything conversions from a lead to a sale when the business owner is picking up the phone or not. So, but unfortunately, you can't sell people what they need. You sell them what they want. So you have to work that out on your own. Conversions come from connection. That made sense. Nonstopnotifications.com. I forget what that was. I just wrote it down. Live content, long posts, mogul post, engagement post. That's her actual use for social media. So live content, like SEO this week would be live. Long post, big old theory about how to sell SEO without selling sales. Mogul post, just, hey, went to the hole in the wall in Phoenix today, and then an engagement post asking a question. And that's her weekly process for social media. It works for her. I think it's awesome. Let's see. Tracy Rayburn, business processes. Her and her son Ty talks together. Growing a business like planting seeds totally makes sense. Planning versus strategic. Strategic. This is where I want to go. Planning. This is the steps I'm going to take to get there. Malleable process for how you're going to accomplish the mission. It's got to be malleable because every pool plan is great right up to the first time you get punched in the face, and then your plan goes out the window, and that's where a malleable process works. Organic is using what you have in your business to make it strategically grow. Build an org chart and do a SWOT analysis. These two here are really, really important. You guys know I got a lot of master's degrees, and everything that we did in all three of those degrees revolved around the starting point of building a SWOT analysis. And then the org chart in particular is, these are all the tasks that you're doing for your business right now, whether you're a one-man show or you got a bunch of VAs, you have these tasks, and you got to build an org chart around those so that you can scale it if scaling is your dream. You all know my agency is intentionally small. I intentionally have a low client count, so I can do other things, but I still have an org chart, and that org chart is built to scale. So if I change my mind and be like, hey, I want to go full retard and get 500 clients, God knows what the hell would possess me to want to do that. But if I wanted to do it, the org chart is there. And if you want to know how to build org charts, get the book Traction. And there's another one called What is EOS? Read the What is EOS book first, because it's the dumb version of the Traction book. And then you'll understand the whole thing better. And then do a SWOT analysis. Learn SWOT analysis. Those are really easy. Monique Rice, people listen to her because this woman is making close to I think it was 2.5 million is what she said a year selling SEO. So be the solution, set the expectations, and build a relationship. She doesn't do the SEO. She runs an agency, and she is selling on her own $2.5 million SEO. And they have other sales reps that are also selling the SEO, right? So, but she's essentially that customer support manager you're talking about. That's what she's doing. She sells them, manages the relationship, sets the expectations. And if things get screwed up, then the customer didn't understand the expectations, or you guys weren't matched up in those, right? Set of reporting is important. They do weekly call tracking recordings. Send those out. If you have a call tracking thing in place and it's got recordings, and you should be using that and sending that to your clients. There could be, important information there, and they could be silently blaming you for something while it's their secretary that's turning away 90% of their business. Those call tracking recordings will save that. She does a weekly activity email. This is a templated email, and then same for the quarterly campaign review. That's actually an email, but they do offer a call. Either way, you're going to get it. And then in Google Analytics, they just send the top 10 traffic sources. Easy peasy. Call tracking, that's all there. Content optimization. This is the email. It's a template. Hey, we optimize this content. Here's the list. Done. Sales reps are the ones that are managing the accounts. They do yearly contracts, and they have in their yearly contract it auto renews, so the client actually has to shut it off. Otherwise, it automatically renews for the next year, and it keeps on going. And then they have an attorney written it up. If people sign the 12-month contract and they don't do it, she recommends getting a collection agency to get the rest of your year stuff, which makes sense, right? If you sign a contract, I don't sell SEO by contract, but if I was going to sell it by contract, and we go through the call process and you sign a contract, you're giving your word. Let's say you're a local business, right? And think about it this way: you're a roofer, and I signed the contract, and then you put the roof on it and I say, no, I don't want it. You've got the contractor's lien you can put against my house. There's things that you can do. Whereas in SEO, we don't have that in place. So that's where the collection agency and all that come into play. You just stick those guys on it and move them forward. They use ACH for payments versus anything else. That's their primary means of payment is ACH. Which is good. There's not a whole lot of fees depending on where you do it. I think Chase, that's our bank, they charge for it, but I don't have enough clients to justify turning ACH on. I do most of my stuff with PayPal. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be a value. That goes along the lines of solving other problems that people have. Like a lot of my consulting clients, they come on for SEO, but then it transitions over into business stuff pretty quickly. And in another example that she gave is one of her clients wanted some stuff printed out, hard solution. They didn't know where to do it. They didn't have enough time. Hey, I think I can figure that out for you. And then she took it to the local printers, got it done, and just upcharged it a little bit of work, but she was the value and got something done beyond just the SEO stuff. So that's where that comes in. Be very selective with your clients, sign clients that you like and trust, and sometimes SEO isn't the answer. Be brave enough to say that. Done that several times myself. Even when I was sucking ass for money, I was like, look, SEO is probably not the play for you, right? So be honest with people in that regard. Let's see. Craig Campbell was there. This was actually a news presentation from I haven't heard before. Work on building your business. Don't work on your business. That's a good cliche. Company customer service keywords. That was interesting. There's a lot of high traffic for those type of things. So you can search around in your local area, for example, and you want to build a resource list. You can find a whole bunch of these customer service type for popular businesses in your area, and they have some local geo pages that like that. Phone number for popular places. I've done that before, especially in debt consolidation. You find the phone numbers for all the debt collectors and you create a page for them and say, this is a phone number for this debt collection agency. So if you ever done a Google search for phone numbers, that's what those guys are doing. Digital download affiliate offers. He liked those the best when he was first getting started. This is kind of the model he was using. So traffic, squeeze page, catch that email. They opt into the list. 50 to 75% don't. 25% say yes. And then he sent out a 4-day email sequence to convert them for the offer. He's doing a lot of website flipping right now. He's in Facebook groups, etc., to find and buy websites. He'll spend a couple thousand on them, $2,000-3,000, put $2,000-3,000 worth of work into it, raise the value up to 10, 15, 20, and then sell it for 10, 15, 20, rinse, repeat. Easy money. He said he doesn't do the big, $1 million websites because there's lawyers and all that crap, and he doesn't want to deal with all that. With the low, 50,000, etc. type of sites, just doesn't have that. Transcribe related videos and rank that content. That's smart. I've heard it before. I've seen some different versions of it, but essentially, even with ChatGPT now, you can make it a little bit easier and go in and get the closed caption transcriptions for videos. Download that, strip the numbers because it comes lined with numbers, or just put it in as it is and say, ChatGPT, here's a transcript for this video. Summarize the article in 1,000. Summarize this video in 1,000 words or less. And spit it out. And you're done. And then this is the expected conversion rate for pages. Like if you're doing an AdSense or Ezoic or whatever, it's kind of what you should be expecting to do. So every 1,000 views that your website gets, you would expect to make at least $30 per. If you're not making that, then you need to work on conversions, which is awesome. What exactly does digital download offer? So digital download products, think ClickBank. A lot of those products are digital download. Ebooks, etc. That's what digital download affiliate offers are. That's for Boris, by the way. Lisa Parazel, processing and automation. Micro tasks are easier to outsource, so don't give out your own process. Just go, build a G sites for me and have someone else do the Google Drive and have someone else do the schema for it or whatever. That's micro tasks. Create a process map, build an order importance, repeat and automate. Knowledge, you can gain knowledge by learning it, or you can buy knowledge. Buying knowledge is faster than gaining knowledge. Process map, strategy map for 12 months, order of importance, low to high. The one thing was a book she recommended, order a process calculator. That was a Excel spreadsheet she showed. Repeatable process to make fulfillment easier. Eldar Cohen, I don't know how many people know Eldar. He was with Michael Rayburn for, he's got a thing called Local Dominator. I think I'm saying that right. Let me check. Don't be a liar. Local Dominator. Yep, Local Dominator. It's like think about it as like a local Falcon, local Viking kind of competitor. He's building that out. He's got a mastermind with Mike Rayburn, and they talk about business processes and all that. He did a presentation. So discipline, challenges related to sales, focus on trust versus the hard sale. Remember photos, not words. Think outside the box. It's not me, it's my actions. Kind of a philosophy to live by. Change the actions, change the outcomes. Another one I heard is you're not a product of your environment, you're a product of your decisions. I heard that on a great video the other day, so I'll add that to that list. Higher value is higher price. Never question. It's never a question. It's a question of value. So if you say I'm going to charge you $30,000 for something, and they balk, but they can afford $30,000, and they balk, then they just don't see the value in it. You need to work better on your value presentation. I had that experience today. As a matter of fact, I have a consulting client. They got a proposal for a website I've never worked on, but I get to see all the data for it for $30,000 a month, and there's zero value in the proposal. I was like, you're increasing the price for these guys by, it was $11,000 a month more, and to me, it looked like all they were doing is writing 10 more blog articles. So there's definitely a question of value there, right? You could buy your way in or earn your way in. Buying is ads, and this is in front of your prospects but you can do ads, Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, email marketing, cold outreach. That's how you buy. And then earn is organic, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, do shows, speak at conferences, do podcasts, all that stuff. That's how you earn your way into the minds of your customers. Referrals must be demanded. That's a really good one. And I used to always ask clients, okay, if you have anyone, blah, blah, blah. And that just turns into never getting a referral. Demand referrals is kind of how he put that. Let's see. Here's a referral demand in these. If you refer, you're going to be on my good side. When you call, I'm going to answer the phone. That's a good one. Let's see. Practice what you preach, market yourself. I think all of us, especially us freelancer guys, we get some clients and stuff, and then we forget about our agency site. I certainly do. And he's recommended the first 90 minutes of your day should be for your business. Definitely implementing that. Rather than coming in and checking my emails and looking at the phone, seeing a message me and stuff, just shut all that shit off and do 90 minutes working on digital ear or SIA or whatever, right? Working on the business. 4 components that make a sale is assurance, proof of knowledge, simple to understand transaction, fast and easy checkout. That's it. components to make a sale. Assurance that it's going to work. Proof of knowledge. I'm smart and now I know it. And simple to understand transaction. Don't make it overly complicated, but provide value. Fast and easy checkout. Here, fill out this contract. Go to fill out this form. Do this, do this, do this, do that. Do that. No, send them the payment link. Go pay right now. And then send them the rest of that shit. Don't sell, dazzle. I mean, that's easy to say. Impress, show value. That's where I would go with that. I'm selling my products and services. They're selling their bullshit. That's why I like that. That's essentially if the that came up if they have oh, I don't know, I got to go talk to my wife, or I don't know, it seems kind of expensive. I don't know, they want to start negotiating with you a price. You're selling your products, services, they're selling their bullshit. Optimize for profits, find the what is Ted? Well, he's not the first one to say it. Just do the least amount of work to get the maximum amount of results, and find ways to do that for the cheapest price, and squeeze as much profit out of each client versus trying to get more and more clients to gain profits. Because essentially what you could find yourself doing is you have an ass ton of clients and you think you're making a lot of money, but then when you work out the CSMs and all your staff and whatever incidentals you pay for and your tools and all that, you're not actually making what you think you're making. Whereas you optimize for profits, you can scale and be making money at the same time. And in the sales hack, increase your price. That's really important nowadays, especially in the SEO space. We're on to all you fuckers that are charging $250 for SEO, and your clients are too, because we're teaching them that you're just scam artists. And honestly, if you're charging less than $1,500 for SEO, then you're not really doing SEO, and you need to go look at yourself in the mirror, or ask yourself, would I want to offer my service to my mom? If the answer is no, then you need to work on your shit. Let's see. Mad Singers. He talked about delegation. This was actually, to me, it was a decent presentation. I found a little bit of, what did I say? Doublespeak, right? You delegate responsibility, focus on the value add of the work, not the process. And then towards the end of it, he's like, you need to have run processes so that they know what they're going to do. So it was a little bit harder to kind of fix that. And then I didn't have a whole lot of time to just sit down with him and get him to, explain that missing. If we had done the roll up, definitely we would have brought that up, because I'm not the only one that noticed that. But just things about delegating your business, and essentially if someone else can do it and it saves you the time, costs you just a little bit of money, then have them do it. This is essentially the crux to this entire presentation. And then he has this virtual staff, sa.com. It's South African VAs. I went there. It's not really all that built out. I think it's a brand new site, and he was promoting it for the conference. And that's it. He was the last speaker. He closed out the conference. So, yeah, so in short, I got a lot of information out of it. I had a great time at the conference, met some great people. It's close to home, and I got to see my son. I got to see Kyle again. I met some new people, met some old people. Got to see Jose. Haven't seen Jose in ages. Dude's been hiding under a rock. But now I guess he's all in love and, and doing awesome. So that's great. And we'll see Jose a whole lot more now in the future, him and his beautiful wife. So looking forward to that. And with that, that's been an hour, YouTube folks. So see you guys next week. Again, I asked a couple questions in there. If you know the answers, I have recommendations or ideas, drop them in the comments for me or anyone else that would like to know. We appreciate you all. See you next week for a Q&A.